welcome. My name is Rali and I'm the host of the Soulfiller podcast, a space for personal and spiritual development, a place to get rid of all the emotional, mental, and even physical weight that we have accumulated in our childhood and our life in general. For those of you who still don't know my journey, let me tell you my story. I'm a former dentist who, thanks to stress and burnout, discovered spirituality and the most amazing mission to spread spirituality all around the world and help people in their awakening journey to the enlightened life experience of fulfillment, joy, and peace. Today, I want to explore the relationship between our minds, bodies, emotions, and the food we eat. It's a very personal topic and episode, and it took me weeks to overcome my fear of going through the pain again. But here I am, ready to share and hopefully inspire someone who really needs some support right now. So let's dive into this topic that affects many of us, stress-related emotional eating. I will uncover where it comes from, how it develops, the spiritual and the scientific aspects, and most importantly, how to become aware of it and overcome it. Stay with me until the end when I will share with you my own emotional eating experience. But first, what is stress-related emotional eating actually? Emotional eating is the tendency to consume food in response to stress or negative emotions rather than physical hunger. This behavior can lead to overeating, overweight, poor nutritional choices, and a cycle of guilt, disgust, and further stress. But where does this behavior come from? Emotional eating often stems from our early childhood experiences, when as children we were confronted with food during stressful times, or we have been rewarded with food. So we develop an association between eating and emotional conditions. And as we grow older, this pattern can become ingrained. In addition, of course, our modern fast-paced lifestyle contributes significantly. High stress jobs, performance pressure, lack of sleep, lack of awareness, and constant connectivity and competition leave us craving quick, easy sources of comfort like sugary and fatty foods. And on a deeper level, stress-related emotional eating can also be seen through a spiritual lens. Many spiritual traditions emphasize the mind-body connection, mindfulness, and presence, and learning to recognize triggers, how we respond to them, and the important message they try to share with us. When we eat mindlessly, we're often trying to fill a void that isn't physical hunger, but a spiritual one. By becoming more present and mindful, we can start to understand our true needs and address them in healthier ways. From a scientific perspective, stress triggers the release of cortisol, a hormone that increases appetite. Coupled with the brain's reward system, which releases dopamine when we eat pleasurable foods, this can lead to a cycle of stress eating. Studies have shown that high levels of cortisol not only increase appetite, but also make us crave high-calorie foods. It's an old survival mechanism trying to adapt to our modern world, where food is abundant and stress is chronic. The first step of overcoming stress-related emotional eating is awareness. Recognizing the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger is crucial. You can keep a food journal. Note what you eat, when and what you are feeling at the time. Patterns will emerge, helping you identify triggers. Mindfulness practices such as meditation and mindful eating can also help. By paying attention to the sensory experience of eating, the taste, texture, and aroma of food, we can become more in tune with our bodies and less likely to eat mindlessly. Here are some strategies to help you overcome stress-related emotional eating. First, start to identify triggers. Understand what situations or emotions lead to your stress eating. Then look inwards and try to remember when was the first time you felt like this. Feel this emotion in your body. Where is it located? Where is it located in your body? How does it feel? Does it have color or form? Observe it, accept it, let it be there. Ask it what it's trying to show you, what it's trying to protect you from. Be with it, right? Second, choose healthy alternatives. Find non-food related activities to cope with stress, like walking, reading, writing a journal, painting, drawing, drinking tea, or calling a friend. Then optimize your diet. Maintain a balanced diet rich in protein to keep your body and mind stable. And don't be ashamed to look for support. Don't hesitate to seek help from a therapist, coach, friend, or family member. Remember, it's a process and it's okay to seek help along the way. Feel also free to contact me if I can support you somehow. I know how it feels to find release and happiness in food, how it becomes your only source of happiness and the only thing that calms you down. I know how it gives you a sense of control for a moment and then makes you feel weak, disappointed, miserable, guilty, and disgusted. I know how it influenced your body image and the way you feel about yourself. I have been there. For me, emotional eating, or the so-called binge eating, is an eating disorder. I suffered from it around 5 years ago, and it began slowly after a breakup and with the increasing unhappiness in my life, plus the stress and overwhelming responsibility at work, it deepened. I remember how the only thing I could think about was food, how I couldn't wait for the lunch break to fill myself up with food, how I couldn't stop, and how bloated, disappointed, and disgusted I felt after that. I remember punishing myself after this emotional eating crisis. I didn't eat for days or try to compensate it with hours of sport or using laxatives, way too many laxatives, or trying to throw up the food I swallowed. I remember being obsessed with counting calories and constantly checking my weight. I can't even remember how many times I promised myself to be disciplined, to be strong, to show some willpower, and to not let foods take control over me, and how many times I failed. And it continued for around 1.5 years. Then it transformed into sports obsession and then into fasting obsession until I didn't find the root of it, the core reason for this behavior, the real reason for the eating disorder. And finally, when I found and healed the cause of it, it disappeared. If you are familiar with all those, let's say, symptoms, I promise you there is a way out. It isn't only the stress, it is something else deep inside of you that needs to be seen, heard, and accepted. When you find it and release it, you will realize how everything happened the way it happened, and you will be grateful for the gift hidden behind the condition. Don't hesitate to contact me if you need some support in the process, right? So that wraps up today's episode of the Soulful podcast. I hope you found insights and practical tips to help you navigate and overcome stress related emotional eating. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Thank you for listening. Join me next week as I will continue to spread awareness and spirituality as a way of living. Until then, stay mindful, take care, and namaste.